Have you ever just looked around and wondered how any of this works? I mean, the food you eat, the phone in your hand, the clothes on your back. It's all built on this incredible and kind of hidden foundation of science. So let's pull back the curtain and tell that story, one breakthrough at a time. All right, here's our journey. We're going to start with the most basic thing, food. Then we're shrinking way down to meet the tiny, invisible workers that run our world. After that, we'll look at the amazing materials we invented, the fuel that makes it all go, and finally, we have to talk about the price our planet paid for all this progress.
Okay, so first things first. Before you can dream up a rocket ship or an internet, you gotta eat. It's not simple. Having a stable food supply is the absolute bedrock of any civilization. And the science behind how we do it today is nothing short of a miracle. Seriously, just let that number sink in for a second. Over 8 billion people. Keeping everyone fed is frankly a mind-boggling challenge. And we've met it by turning this simple act of planting a seed into the massive, high-tech operation that is modern agriculture.
You know, modern farming isn't just about throwing some seeds on the ground and hoping for the best. No way. It's a super precise 7-step process. It all starts with preparing the soil, then sowing the seeds, adding nutrients, watering, protecting the crop from pests, and finally, the harvest and storage. Every single step is a science in itself.
And this whole system is totally tuned to the rhythms of nature. In India, for instance, they split their farming into 2 main seasons. You've got the kharif crops like paddy, think rice, which grow during the rainy season, and then you have rabi crops like wheat, which grow in the cooler winter months.
Now, to keep that soil healthy and full of life, farmers have 2 main tools in their toolbox. First, there's manure, the organic stuff. It's great for the soil's texture and helps it hold water. But then you have fertilizers. Think of these as chemical power-ups, delivering a super targeted dose of nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. That's the famous NPK you might see on a bag at the garden store.
So, what is it that makes soil fertile in the first place? Well, for that answer, we have to go from the huge, open fields of farming to a world you can't even see with your own eyes. We're talking microorganisms, the tiniest workers on the planet who are absolutely critical to our lives, for both good and for bad.
Microorganisms are pretty much what they sound like. Microscopic, living things. The big groups you hear about are bacteria, fungi, and protozoa. And believe me, these guys are everywhere, in the ground, in the air, and even living inside of you right now.
So, why this year, 1857? Well, this is the year the great Louis Pasteur figured out the secret of fermentation. That's the process where tiny yeast converts sugar into alcohol. It's the literal magic that makes our bread rise and our beer, well, beer. It was one discovery that totally changed the way we make food and drinks. But here's the thing you have to understand. Microbes are a real double-edged sword. On one side, you've got the friendly guys, like lactobacillus, the bacterium that turns milk into yogurt. But on the other side, you've got the really nasty ones, the pathogens that cause terrible diseases like cholera and malaria. Our battle against these harmful microbes is full of these incredible aha moments. Back in 1798, Edward Jenner gave us the first vaccine for smallpox, a total game changer. Then, fast forward to 1929, Alexander Fleming accidentally discovers penicillin, the world's first antibiotic. These 2 discoveries completely reshaped medicine and have saved literally millions upon millions of lives. Okay, so we fed ourselves, we figured out how to fight off deadly diseases. What's next on the list for building a modern world? The materials. Let's dive into the incredible stuff we invented to build our homes, make our clothes, and just create our world. The secret ingredient behind a lot of these modern materials is something called a polymer. The easiest way to think about it is like a chain. You have these tiny little chemical units, the links, and when you join a whole bunch of them together, you get a long, strong polymer. It's a simple idea, but it's the foundation for almost all plastics and synthetic fibers. And from that one basic idea, we get this incredible explosion of different materials. You get nylon, which is famously stronger than a steel wire of the same thickness. It's used in everything from parachutes to your toothbrush bristles. You get polyester, which is the reason your shirt doesn't wrinkle. And you get acrylic, which feels soft and warm like wool, but it's way cheaper and more durable. Plastics also come in basically 2 main flavors. First, you have thermoplastics, like the PVC in pipes or the polythene in plastic bags. You can heat them up and remold them over and over.
But then you have thermosetting plastics, like the bakelite used for your light switches. When you heat those, a chemical change happens. Once they're set for good. You can't melt them down again.
So, creating all these new materials, building our cities, running our factories, all of it takes a truly colossal amount of energy. So where do we get it? Well, that brings us to the fuels that have powered pretty much all of human ambition for the last century and a half.
And the answer, for the most part, has been fossil fuels. We're talking about coal, oil, and natural gas. They're formed over millions and millions of years from the remains of ancient plants and animals. But here's the most important word to remember about them: exhaustible. They are a finite resource. Once we use them all up, they're gone, for good.
The wild thing is just how versatile these fuels are. I mean, just take petroleum. You put it through a refining process, and this one single raw material gets separated into this huge range of different products. You get LPG for cooking, petrol for cars, diesel for trucks and generators, and even the bitumen that's used to pave our roads, all from the same stuff.
And these fuels release their energy in a few different ways. You've got rapid combustion, that's the nice controlled flame on your gas stove. Then there's something called spontaneous combustion, where a substance like phosphorus can literally just burst into flames all by itself. And then, of course, there's an explosion, a sudden, massive, and violent release of energy.
So, we've built this incredible modern world. We've figured out how to feed billions of people, we've conquered diseases, created materials that would seem like magic to our ancestors, and harnessed unbelievable amounts of power. But all of this progress, it's come at a cost, a big one. It's time to look at the planet's price tag.
The problem is, burning fossil fuels is a messy business. It releases tiny, unburnt carbon particles into the air that can cause respiratory diseases like asthma. When it doesn't burn completely, it creates poisonous carbon monoxide gas. It pumps huge, and I mean huge, amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which is the main driver of global warming, and it releases sulfur dioxide, which comes back down as acid rain.
So what do we do? Where's the path forward? Well, it starts with a simple but really powerful idea, the 4R principle. Reduce the amount of stuff we use in the first place. Reuse what we can. Recycle materials to give them a new life. And recover any value we can from our waste. It's a really practical roadmap to lessening our impact. And all of this brings us to one final, and I think one really important question. We have seen firsthand how science and human ingenuity built the entire world around us and solved problems that once seemed impossible. So the defining challenge of our generation is this: can we now use that same power to save it?